The following broadcast is a Nighthawk Network presentation. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Join us as we talk trending topics, world and local issues, and the conversations that we need to talk about as people. Get Off My Lawn Live is a Nighthawk Network presentation. Good evening, everybody. It's your boy E-Buck, Eric Buckner here, and this is another episode of my show, Get Off My Lawn Live. Good evening to everyone. Hopefully, you are doing well so far this week, and everything is going good in your world. Happy belated Mother's Day to all the mothers that I did not get a chance to address. You did not see my Facebook page. Hopefully, you enjoyed your day, and that people remember that Mother's Day should be every day, not just on that Sunday. That being said, I'm here to talk to you, the people. Got a couple discussions to have this evening in regards to what we're going to talk about. Today, I want to get into college. Is it the right choice for your graduating senior? Is college the right choice for them? I also want to discuss the summer and some of the things that I think we really need to keep an eye out for. And then we'll have another little small discussion at the end. So that's what we're looking to talk about today on the show. But as always, I want to acknowledge the people here in my Nighthawk Network. So I'm going to take a minute to do that and show a couple promos. Once we get back, we're going to get into it. Is college for you, your senior, so on, so forth? That is tonight's major discussion. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. I am your host, E-Buck, and these are a couple people that represent the people of the Nighthawk Network. Check them out.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comfort together because it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meat.
It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat. It's time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling.
Nikki.
Let's talk. Let's
Nikki.
let's talk.
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Nikki.
Let's talk.
Nikki.
Nighthawk Network presents Pastor Sean Love. Pastor Sean Love, devoted father and husband, a residing pastor at the River Rouge Bible Assembly in River Rouge, Michigan. Join him as he gives us messages from God's Word, Bible study, and encouragement. You can find him on YouTube under Sean Love. The views and opinions expressed here on Get Off My Lawn Live are those of the host or his guests and do not necessarily reflect those of the Nighthawk Network or its associates. Viewer and listening discretion is advised. What's going on, good people? We are back. This is Get Off My Lawn Live. Again, I am your host, Eric Buckner. I'm here today to talk to you guys about some of the things that we should talk about as people. And the topic I choose to speak on today is school right for your outgoing senior, or even for yourself for that matter? Now, keep in mind, it is about that time of year as we get ready to do proms and last term papers and such. Your kids should already be on the path to figuring out possibly what is their immediate future plans. For many of you, you have determined that, yeah, my child is going to college. But first and foremost, let us ask the question, is that in the best interest of your child? Is that something that that person really wants to do? Now, I know you look at it from the standpoint of your child is about to be an adult, but not quite there. So you may see it as it is not their choice. I know many of our people grew up with having in mind that our kids was going to college no matter what. We was going to make it happen. But you have to understand your kid may not be set up for college. Your kid may not need college. Your kid may not be able to do college. College is a different animal than high school. The mere fact that you are the primary person at that point in charge of your education and how you proceed that education, that is something your child may not fully understand or grasp. You must also understand that that child who is going to college may simply be going just because they're ready to get away from home. Nothing more, nothing less. And when they get there, their primary focus is not education. It is, in fact, to find out what's out here in this world, to actually be on that adult level, to do the things that they've seen in all the movies, the house parties and the frat house movies and all those things they may have seen as kids. They're thinking about that part of campus life. They're not even considering the major undertaking that is in front of them when it comes to doing college. These are discussions that you need to have with your young people. First and foremost, to figure out, son, daughter, I would like you to go to college, but is that what you want to do? And if not, why not? And if so, why and what school would you like to go to? I really say that in this day and age, it may not be in the best interest of all involved to declare a major right there on the spot. Yeah, there are some kids, they have it in their mind, this is what I've been wanting to do since I was 5 years old. I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a doctor or a lawyer. Ain't no telling me nothing different. I'm going to do everything in my power to make that happen. Those kids usually go on to do exactly that. But that's a small percentage, people. The vast majority of people, they start out with a major, and much like myself, end up changing that major 1, 2, 3 times before they finally decide on a course of action and then graduate. And then, as you know, many times now, our people are graduating from college, they go into attempting to get into what they have studied for and find out that the jobs are not as plentiful as they thought, and thusly end up doing something entirely different with their life. That was me. And I know some people to this day say, well, you still should have. But those I'll tell you is, one, sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And for those that want to be more intrusive, this is my life, let me do me. How about that? I digress. We talk about your child and what they should do and what you think they should do. Those two things need to correlate. They need to come to some type of meeting of the mind. If you have determined your child's going to school and that's all you pushing, the pushback will be real. And more times than not, your child will become one of the many statistics that says that the vast majority of people that attend college will not graduate from college. Please know that, good people, that when your child goes to college, the odds are against them, particularly if they are a person of color, and even more particularly if they are a person of color who is male. Basically, 1 out of every 5 college students who are male actually graduate from a 2 or 4 year university. We're not even talking about graduate school, doctorate degrees, and the like. So the odds are already stacked against us. It is said, in fact, depending on where you are throughout the country, you are more likely to complete 4 years of prison than you are of college. There are those statistics out there, particularly when you have to realize in some municipalities, 1 out of every 6 people who are 30 years and younger will be pulled over by the police for whatever reason, particularly if you look like me. So all those things are that. Now, let's just say, for the sake of this argument, You have decided your child's going to college, and they have also decided they too want to attend college. First and foremost, you need to figure out what's the ultimate plan. Are we going to college and we're going to try to figure it out? If that's the case, you might want to consider a community college or a college close to home where you can get your 2-year degree, your basic associates, and then at that point, figure out what you want to do from that point forward. That might be an option. You might want to go the online route where you basically do online school for a year until you figure out where you want to go and what you want to study in. There are options, particularly if you live in a city such as Detroit, where right now they are set up to where if you are a person who graduates from a Detroit public school, you have the opportunity to go to a community college here in Wayne State for free. For free. And hopefully if they can pass that bill, Congress will get off their butt and stop playing the I don't like you game. There is a bill that's sitting on somebody's desk that says that we pass this, we are going to promote free community college for everybody in these United States. I would so very much to see that happen. You want to get my vote? That will get it. Make it happen, Biden. Make it happen, Democrats, if you can. Road to Stardom checking in the building. Hey, Road, what's going on? Thank you as always for being a part of the program. We appreciate you. But yes, people, let's start that plan. Now let's just say you've picked out a college and this is where you want to go. I strongly advise, because in the end all I can do is give you my opinion. If you, the parent, or you, the guardian adult, have not gone with your child to the college of their choice and do a thorough background check, you are not doing it correctly. This is not a wise decision. Just pick a college, go up there right quick, see a couple sites and say, okay, kid, when you get up here, good luck. No, you need to figure out what's going on at this place. Where is this place? What is the surrounding area like? A very key component. What is the atmosphere like? If your child is a person of color, will they be comfortable? Will they have resources for people of color? If your child is basically a white child going into the reverse situation, because yes, there are white children that do go to HBCUs. Are they going to be dealt with fairly on that end of the spectrum? If your child is from a small town and the school you send them in is in a large metropolitan area, is your child ready to contend with that? What are the resources like for that? If your child is a person who has any type of mental deficiencies or trouble learning, dyslexia, things of that, is your college that you send them to able to help them with some of those? If your child has health issues, like if they're diabetic, for instance, or they have lupus or something along those lines, what are the medical facilities like at that university? Are they prepared and able to set them up for that? What are the travel situations for that particular school? In other words, is the only way you get there by a train or a bus? Is there multiple routes to get to said college? How far is it from the nearest big town or city? Those types of things. These are all things you want to know ahead of time. Not day of, not weekend of. You want to know if that town that you send your kid to has a functioning Walmart or Target where they can go get supplies if necessary. If they have a post office so that if you need to send them something, there's that. If even if Amazon goes to that particular area and it gets them in, and they can get there in a relatively quick period of time. If they have a place where you can send your Western Union, these are the types of things you need to know ahead of time before you set your child up in that college. Now, ideally, there are some of you, and no shame of it, you've never been to college. You have no idea what it may be like. Well, keep in mind, you have your resources. For example, I've been to college, been to 2 of them. And then I've been to several on visits and parties and such. So I got an idea of what campus life is like. You could ask me. Or basically, there's people in your family that's currently attending college. That would probably be the ideal person to ask. Okay, what is college like in your neck of the woods? Talk to my child. Compare notes. Figure out what you could tell them that will help them in their decision-making process. You want to do some of those things. Another thing you want to keep in mind is the expense and cost of being at said college. If basically your child has a full scholarship, so you don't have to worry about that, what type of money may you still need to invest in order to make sure that child is successful? Because just because they're paying for school, don't mean all things is covered. They may cover books, but do they cover supplies? Do they cover stuff like book bags and computer modules and things of that nature? What type of phone do you have that you're sending your child up there with? Does it have a GPS system to track in case something goes wrong and you can't find your child? Those types of things. You want to keep that in mind. You also want to have the conversation. Not like the conversation about the birds and the bees. I'm talking about one deeper than that, where you say, okay, you are now an adult for the first time in essence. These are some things as an adult you need to look out for. Be wary of the people that want to give you a credit card right away and it has a limit and you thinking you just do this and once the money's good. They don't tell you about, okay, it's got 33% interest and the first time you miss the payment, now all of a sudden you're in trouble. Those type of conversations. Tell them about there's certain parties and when you go there, you'll have your drink and you might not want to leave that open. Yeah, you might not even want to leave them sitting there. You might want to carry your drink all around with you. But the minute that you don't, sprinkle, I feel funny. Next thing you know, you in somebody's dorm room in a compromised position. And that's for men and women for that matter. Because depending on what school you go to and what people you might party with, who knows what awkward situation they have plotted for you. Remember, sometimes you don't know the playbook, because sometimes you don't know the playbook exists. If you've been a child and you've been sheltered all your life, and suddenly now you're being sent to college where you have no idea that things like this happen on a regular basis, you might be setting yourself up to fail. That's where you, the parent, or you, the current college person, can help fill in the blanks. So that that ongoing college person knows that, okay, here's some of the stuff you may face. Be prepared. Be careful. Choose your friends wisely. Choose where you go wisely. Learn your surroundings before you start to be fully engaged in them. Those types of things. These are the discussions we need to have with our young people as college goes on. Now, also keep in mind, people, we live in a society where there are many jobs that do not require college, okay? Jobs that actually pay very well, in fact. Jobs that involve something as simple as you just learning the processes thereof. Your student may decide that, yeah, school was too hard from beginning to end. I don't want to further my education that way. But I do want to do something with my life, and I'm interested in filling the blank. Or I might be interested in filling the blank. It may make out for them a lot cheaper if you send them to that trade school, that Dorsey Business School, that biotech, or wherever the case may be. They do the 6-month or 12-month program and come out with some type of certificate and start working right away, making good money, in fact. There are some kids that say, look, I'm done. At the high school, ball game. No more. I don't want to do ish else with school. At that point, you may want to sit down like, okay, well, here's your options. And I'm not talking about typical options where it's like you go from graduating class 2022 and next week it's like, welcome to McDonald's, man, have your order. No, I'm not talking about those options. I'm talking about option where you go and places like Quicken Loans say, okay, you're a high school student with high school diploma. We got some things that you might be good at. Check this out. And it comes with benefits and all. There are places where you go and say, okay, this is the city of Detroit. We're hiring people to work in our park and recreation department and department A, B, and C, the sewage department, so on and so forth. You start out at 50, 60K. All you need to do is go to the school for 6 months to learn how to work the processes, and boom, you work for the city, full benefits, comparable days off, the whole nine. And you didn't attend not one day at college, and you might mess around and make more money than the peoples do. It can happen like that. It all depends on what route you choose. And sometimes you just don't know. Sometimes you need time to figure it out. It's okay. There are very few you parents, as much as I know at this moment you feel differently, there are very few you parents out there that's going to say, the minute you get 18, you getting out, and I'm done with you. There are some kids, they want that. I understand that. But for the vast majority of you still going to rock with your kids after they graduate. They still going to be allowed to come stay at the house and be in their room for years and years. Okay? Hugh checking in, my partner in crime. I definitely wish I picked a trade school while I was at school. Students need to take full advantage of these opportunities. Absolutely, Hugh. You know, we've had that discussion recently, so you absolutely know what I'm saying with that. I really do think that you need to really study your option, and if in the end you feel like you're being rushed into a choice, tell your peoples, look, I need a minute, okay? I'm gonna do something, but I think I need to take that semester to figure it out, or that whole year. You know how they say they have that whole, I forget the exact term for it, where you basically take a whole year off between high school and college to kind of figure out things and learn how the world works a little bit and all of that. I'm not mad at that, okay? That's a good thing if in the end you step out on the other side and you made a quality decision. Also know, people, some of y'all going to college, you're going to get there, you're going to do well, you're going to graduate, but in the end, you are going to determine that once you get into your field of study, you don't like it. You don't like it and you don't want to do that. You know what? That's okay. And darn anybody that tells you it's not okay. I understand that you have spent thousands of dollars helping me graduate school and whatnot. But in the end, this is life. And in real life here in America, the vast majority of us is not going to keep the same job the entire time. On average, in fact, the average worker switches jobs at least 7 to 8 times in their working life, which is basically between the ages of 25 to retirement age. On average, about 7.5 to 8 times, you switch from one company to another company, or from one profession to another profession, so on and so forth. Now, granted, mine is a little different than that. Hey, Hugh. But ultimately, I learned life skills that have served me well to this day, doing the various jobs that I've done. And for the most part, I have kept a job the entire time I have been out of college. And I do benefit me going to college and helping me do all that. It's an experience that I definitely, from a personal perspective, would like people to experience for themselves, even if it's just for a semester, to have that freedom to do you and see what campus life is like, and to learn from different people, different cultures, different backgrounds, gain a different understanding of how the world works as opposed to the world you live in. Keep in mind, I think everybody here that has lived in the city all their life would strongly benefit from going to a school, a diverse school, that is different from this environment. A lot of people that came from Detroit public schools during the time I was in school, they didn't make out quite so well with college. I think part of it is because of the culture shock of it all. You go from an environment where pretty much everywhere you look, somebody's black or Arabic or a person of color, and now you're at school and you are maybe one of 2 people in your entire class that is black. You are maybe one of 12 or 14 people that is black in your dorm, and so on and so forth. And some people, they don't deal with it well, particularly if you have come from that environment where basically everybody tells you the white man is the devil and don't trust him and all that. All white people aren't bad. It's like all black people aren't bad people. Do understand that. But sometimes we set our young people up to fail when we send them to school, because we send them with our ideologies, our environmental things that we've learned, and that may not serve them well in the environment you sent them in, particularly if it's an environment that you did not check out for yourself. So I strongly recommend that you not only have that discussion with your young people, but you actually sit down and have a very, very detailed discussion, one that may even last a few days until you figure out, this is what I want to do, or at least this is what I want to attempt to do. And keep in mind also, in this day and age of people flip-flopping schools, it's okay if you start out at that one college and you learn, no, this ain't for me, and you go on here and switch up to another college. That's something you need to determine early on in your collegiate career. Don't go to that school for 2 years and then finally figure out, no, this wasn't the place for me. And then try, because the longer you go to that school, the harder it's going to be to transfer credit and all that other stuff. Particularly when they're making it easier for collegiate athletes to switch from school to school, it's going to be the same for people who are non-athletes. Because in the end, they want to have the money. And some schools, they're going to work with you because they want your money, okay? They're going to work with you, no doubts about it. Particularly if it's the government paying the bill. That way, that guarantees they're going to get their money, okay? So know that. Then there's that rare individual. You may get to school and find out you have many interests, more than you really have the time to do in 4 years. Gain that understanding if you need to. There are those people that are career college people, as they call it. They got 3 and 4 degrees because they just kept going, kept back learning. My whole thing is if they're still paying for it and you have a way to support yourself, by all means, do you, boo-boo. He was saying, I was glad to experience being around different races in school all of my life. It was a very good environment most times. That experience made me appreciate all races as a child. And like I said, that is good that Hugh actually went to a Detroit public school. I feel fortunate because I did go to Detroit public school and I was in honors classes. That gave me the opportunity to visit other schools that under normal circumstances I probably wouldn't have. So it was not a complete culture shock to me when I got to school. That being said, it was a shock to me when I went to school, when you see how other people live and think in regards to who you are and where you come from. That was interesting at times, but in the end, it made me a better person. It makes me see the world in a different way than some of the people that I presently am around. I don't always see everything in black and white to the degree that some of them do. You know who I speak of. Because in the end, racism is not just a white thing. There are black racists too, unfortunately. There are people in other cultures who are probably more racist than both of us combined when it comes to certain things. But because we don't value their opinion enough, we don't know those things. But because I've known different people from different walks of life, I have that understanding. And perhaps you too can gain that understanding if you send your child to school and y'all have discussions about what goes on campus and such. Most importantly, when you're sending your child to whatever school you go to, please check to see what is being done to keep them safe, not only from people that don't belong on campus, but from people on campus that have bad intentions for them. Please gain that understanding of where the safety office is or where the local police station is and those types of things before you just send your child off to school, not knowing much or nothing. Particularly if you know you've been sheltered and helicopter parent that child, and now you're sending them out to the world to be free and do them and experience things that they never have at home. 1 or 2 wild parties later, ain't no telling what child you're gonna get back once they come back home. If they come back home. That part there. So yeah, there's some things to keep in mind as we are entering the middle of May and some of these decisions still have yet to be made. Sit down and talk about it, y'all. That's part of why we don't get to where we need to go as people. We don't have enough quality discussions, not even with our own people. So yeah, please do that for me, parents. In the meanwhile, we're gonna take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about another thing in regards to safety in the summer. My concern is things might get out of hand real quick, and I just need to put this on y'all brain before y'all just go wilding out here in the summer, okay? Get off my lawn live, EB in the house. We be back after this message from that guy David Ford. Here we go.
Look at that. That's his thing. He don't know Tom. Yes. Oh, here we go. Oh, I can't see the demons. I can't see the demons, but I can see the light.
We are creating black luxury across this country.
We're not asking for your permission. We're not seeking your approval. We're claiming what's ours in the name of our ancestors. We are their answered prayers. This is more than a movement. This is a revolution. Black innocence. What are yours today?
What up, though, y'all? Get off my lawn live. E-Buck, the Nighthawk, back in the building. Ready for part 2 of the show this evening. So I'm out. Let's go. People, remember, summer is pretty much here now. The weather has jumped up. We're in the 80s and 90s in a good part of the country, and gonna get hotter still as the weeks go on. Do understand the weather's been a little topsy-turvy these last few years. Global warming is starting to take its effect on our weather patterns. So if you are in one of those volatile places in the country, be prepared. Be prepared in the event that something stupid go on, say the wildfire or the hurricane, the tornado alley, whatever. Be prepared to get up out of there if you need to. I know you're home and you love being home and whatnot, but if you live in one of those places, you already know that it could get that at any time. Have that plan set up for, okay, if the storm is coming, we ain't gonna be stubborn this time. We're getting the hell up out of here. Let's go visit the family up so and so and so and so. Come back in a couple of days, okay? First of all. Second of all, do know that we as a country are more divided than ever before, particularly when it comes to protocols in regards to COVID-19. For the most part, the numbers are up the last couple of weeks. For those of you who don't watch the news, let me tell y'all that numbers are up. Are we in bad shape at this point? No, because the vast majority of people getting sick, they are not getting as sick as they did beginning of the pandemic. A lot of these variants that's coming out, they are weaker versions of the original virus, thank God. And because the majority of the country at least is vaccinated, that does help the cause. But sadly, there are still about 500 to 700 people every day dying from COVID. And because of that, sometime this week, we are due to lose 1 million people here in our fine country due to that darn coronavirus. Let's not let these people die in vain. Do be careful where you can. That being said, I know you want to go out and have fun. It's been a minute for some of y'all. Let's go out here and wild out. Whoa. Two things, okay? Put these 2 things on your brain. 1, some people do not conflict resolute well. Now, depending on where you are in the country and who you deal with, you have that idea. You've watched the national news, the local news, and you've been out here in these streets. You know, certain people, certain environments lend themselves to violent confrontations. There have been several people I've talked to in the last several weeks, and they have said, I have 2 concerns about the summer. 1, with COVID being out here, are we going to have that situation? And 2, when it get hot, people act up, especially these last few years. Since the year 2020, crime and violence is up about 20% across the board, across the country. Stuff like that don't happen here in this town. Yes, even started happening in that time. Yeah, remember, a lot of these school shootings, they didn't happen in no metropolitan area. They happened in local place ABC. Oxford is not a big community, but it happened. Out there in Florida, where it happened. That wasn't Miami. That wasn't Houston. That was Parkland. Okay? Idaho, Utah, it's happening in places where you don't even think it will happen. In this day and age of internet, people are being bullied. People are putting threats out here. It's all true. You hear me, sis? What's going on, sis? So please keep this in mind in your travels. If you're going someplace and the reason why you're going is because it's going to be this big function there where thousands upon thousands of people are going to be there, be careful, especially if it ain't your neck of the woods. There's some people, they waiting on you. They're waiting to catch you slipping and to be gripping and tipping your stuff, okay? Especially, be careful in your travels if you travel alone. And people can figure out if you're traveling alone. Be extremely careful in those circumstances. If you're taking one of those cruises this year, please be careful in regards to those. You know, it's been a minute since people have been really out here cruising. People are aware of that. They're waiting. They're waiting because they know you concentrating on having a good time. Meanwhile, they are concentrating on other things. And not in a good way. You don't want to go on one of these cruises and then 2 weeks later they look for you to come back and you never came back because somebody done snatched you up in one of these other countries. And no, I'm not trying to do this to be gloom and doom and say, you know what, I don't mind. You one of my old people. That's why you be talking about get off my line. I'm telling you this for your own good. Because I want you to have fun. I want you to go out there and live your best life. I want you to take pictures and post them once you get back. Once you get back, people, y'all be liking to go live from Mexico and Puerto Rico and whatnot. That's saying one, look at them, they're having a great time in Puerto Rico. But to other people saying, hey, they not home. Let me see where I can snatch up out their crib. You know people think like that. I hate that. I hate you people that do that. You know I have suffered loss because of people's thought process. People plotting on my whereabouts and caught me slipping. I don't want them to get you caught up too. I understand you saying, I wish a mother would to my house. They gonna get that 5. I got that 5 for them. That 5 ain't gonna do you no good if you in Puerto Rico and he getting your stuff. I got cameras. Yeah, that's nice. You'll take some nice pictures of them stealing your stuff. Unless, of course, they notice the camera and knock it out first. You gotta be prepared. Have fun, but just be prepared. Have somebody looking out for the house. Yeah, have somebody stay at the house if you're comfortable enough to have them do that. Look, I'm gonna be out of town this week. Pop by the house every now and then, see what's good. That part. Let the village help you out. You know, I would talk about the village here on the network. Let the village have your back. So they know, yeah, ain't nobody supposed to be at that house. Let me go on up in there. That part. But yeah, please know, some of y'all, I'd rather y'all just stay in the house. I understand there's this need within you to get out and about. Your mental health requires you to not be cooped up no longer. But if you ain't been around people in a minute and now suddenly you are overwhelmed and you don't deal with that well, and that anxiety and that all of that causes you to react in a negative way, that's going to cause a serious problem. I don't want to see you on the news in that way. I don't. I'm tired of turning on my news and seeing the people have fun in the 18th minute because the first 16 minutes they spent talking about all the people that got shot, beat up, ran over, car accidents, the like. And my people in the streets, especially if you are here in Detroit, I'm talking to you. Slow the hell down. Why is some of y'all in such a big hurry to get nowhere? Some of y'all ain't even got no job and be flying through here like you late for work. Some of y'all be flying through here Ain't got a damn piece of insurance on your ride. Ain't even got no damn tag on the ride. I don't know how many cars I done seen the last couple of weeks ride around here. Ain't no sticker, ain't no license plate, ain't no paper, nothing. Fully tinted the whole deal. I thought you weren't supposed to ride around like that. I done seen y'all ride past the police. Had a damn police almost hit me today. They was flying around here. What y'all in a big hurry for? And the lights ain't on. Come on now. Do better, people. Be better. Part of why America is not great ain't got nothing to do with the government. Part of the reason is us. Me, you, us. We got to do better to be better to get to getting better, okay? He was saying, I never understand why people are always advertising everything that they do. You have to be much smarter than that. I always try to stay low-key and move swiftly at all times. Like I said, and Hugh, you know this about me, if I go somewhere, I'm not going to post live. The only thing I do live is here in my home, where I'm relatively safe. But beyond that, if I'm doing something, you'll find out about it after the fact. Okay? I don't need you clocking my every move like that. You know? And people like you and I, Hugh, we live a careful kind of low-key existence. So I get that. But other people, they live for the weekend. They can't wait for days like this. They already out here. And shout out to Fashion Nova. Y'all made a killing. If not, you about to, because I swear I done seen more Fashion Nova outfits these last few days. It's been warm here than I done seen, period. So Amazon may have lost some money this quarter, but they made a lot of sales during the pandemic. Let me tell you. You got any Stephen King books at the crib? I do believe we might. Hugh, I'm going to look into that for you. If not, there's a wonderful thing they're doing here starting this weekend called Bookstop. They've done it for the last 20 years out in Livonia, out in Laurel Park Place, where they have a variety of different books and things that they sell for dirt cheap. All types of books, comic books, sports books, all types of stuff. Some you might be interested in, Hugh. Maybe if we get a little minute next week, we can go check it on out, bro. You know, we said we're going to get out a little more. That seems like something that would be up our alley. With that being said, y'all, it's going to be a hot summer. It could be a very safe, fun summer. Who decides that? You and I. You and I. We will determine how it goes. Because in the end, we're going to create this culture where basically, if you ain't strapped up or 30, 40 deep, you're not going nowhere. And if you're an older person, you feel like, I can't go nowhere no more because ain't no sense of trying to have fun. The young people going to ruin it, or the crazy people going to ruin it, whatever it is. No problem, Hugh. That's what the village is for, bro. You know our motto here at the network, Nighthawk Network, our voices for our people. You know what it is. That being said, we're going to cut out early this evening. Them the two topics I have for today. Next week, we are going to talk a little more to the graduating high school class and college class of 2022. But we are also going to have a discussion about the next part of this year. Because right now, as much as we hate to deal with it, we're going to have to deal with it. 2022 is a political year, and the ads going to start popping up, and the talk and the rhetoric going to go back and forth, and here we go. So let's do a little preview so y'all understand what needs to transpire, what I want to transpire. I got an idea that's very radical, but it's just crazy enough to work. But we'll talk about that next Tuesday. In the meanwhile, let me say, people, we are looking for you to come on the show. This show will not always be just me telling you about what I feel in regards to everything. Sometimes I want you to come on the show, and we want to know how you feel. We also want to know about the business you have started, the company you are working for that's looking for others quality work. We want to know about your trials and tribulations as a teacher, a worker, period. We want to talk to you guys. If you are writing a book, we want to talk to you. If you are out here hustling, selling dinners or whatnot, we want to talk to you. If you are a person in another part of the country, we still want to talk to you. This is the Nighthawk Network. We are trying to promote the village. That village includes all of you and the things you are doing. So we want to do that. If you are thinking about doing a podcast and you want to get a little experience, I'm talking to you too. Come on the show. Be my special guest for a week. Let me walk you through the processes. Let me show you this is what, and that is what, and this is what you can do. Do we have a large audience at all times? You see that we don't. But we do have enough of an audience where you can see people from across the country checking in. She was, of course, here with me from Detroit, but my sister, she is down there in Texas, and Road to Stardom is located in New Jersey, and a couple of my cousins from Oklahoma City checked in, and I got somebody checking in from Baltimore this evening that I can see. So we get seen some of everywhere, including different countries around the world, Canada, Nigeria, and over there in the Bahamas. We got people in all those three places. So by all means, be a part of the process. Come on, check on in. We want to talk to you, okay? How do you get in touch with me to do that, you ask? Well, let me show you. You're going to simply hit us up on our email. There it goes right there at the bottom of your screen. Get off my lawn live at nighthNetwork313@gmail.com. Or you can also hit me up on IG at EricHawk455. You can get in touch with me those two ways, or you can hit my messenger at Eric Buckner here on Facebook, or you can leave a little message over there on YouTube. We check the messages. We check your comments to see what you put after the show, because we know some of y'all don't always check in live. Sometimes you check in after the fact. So yeah, by all means, get in touch with us, contact us. We would love to hear from you. In the meanwhile, we about to cut out, but let me tell you, be safe out there. Remember, we still may be near the end of the pandemic, but we still got some ways to go. Be careful, people. People are still contracting COVID on a daily basis. Do what you can to be safe. Not only for COVID, this period, be safe, but also do what you need to do for your own mental, okay? In the end, you just can't do the mask no more. Do what you got to do, okay? If you just say, look, I'm not getting vaccinated, that's it. Everybody leave me alone. Okay, cool. Do you. Just do you safely. And in the end, I don't want nobody telling that story. I told them and I told them, and now they gone. I don't want to hear that. Just like you ain't going to hear if suddenly tomorrow, he was vaccinated and everything, but he's still gone. That's why I ain't do it. We're going to have that back and forth probably to the end of time at this point. But in the end, this, I just want to make sure that next week when we come on to say hey to you, we are still saying hey to you in this real world, in this life, up above the dirt. You feel me? So, all right, that being said, let me head on up out of here. Thank you to Hugh for checking in. He was my partner over there on the show we call Game Time Audible. We will be on tomorrow night, barring anything I don't know about. We'll be on probably about 8:30. And we're going to talk sports with y'all. We're going to talk NBA playoffs. We're going to talk some MLB. And I'm sure we'll talk about some other sports. Hugh is the director of said show. So whatever he's ready to talk about, I'm going to be ready to talk about it too. That's what we do. And then, of course, there's other shows on the Nighthawk Network. Please check them out. You got the show known as Beyond the Blue Curtain that comes on Saturday, 11 a.m. You have the show No Weapon Formed Against Us comes on Monday at 9. You have my cousin's other show. Hold on. Getting to be that time of night, so my mind don't always just rifle them off like that. Gospel monumental moments in God's Word. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. We got Dish Tea with Big Meech. And of course, you got my new show that I started last week. Show called the Big Buck Sports Report. You can check on that one 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. Shout out to my girl Tibby, who said her team is the Mets. Please make sure you talk about the Mets next time. Definitely good to start posting some of those things on IG. We're starting to get more of an audience there. So we're going to do a better job of getting at least parts of some of the shows posted to my IG page for you to check out. But in the meanwhile, let me do what I do because got an early day tomorrow, so I'm headed out. Until then, be blessed. And we will see you next week for another rousing episode of this show that I call Get Off My Lawn Live. That being said, where's that world famous outro? There it is. Y'all know what it is. Deuce.